Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting here for Tuesday, June 29th, 2021. I am Commissioner and Board Chair Rick Vest. On my left is Vice Chair Deb Shore. On her left, Commissioner Sean Flower. To my right is Commissioner Roma Amundsen and Commissioner Kristen Yoakum on her right. What an honor it is to be here today as we have a big week as we prepare to celebrate this anniversary of our nation's independence. And to honor that, let's stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, please begin the meeting.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available for electronic viewing from the county clerk's staff. Printing options are available on request. These materials can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approve of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve item 1A. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Thor,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners tour of St. Monica's Women Are Sacred program held on Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021.
I move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meeting when we toured the new facility that will be helping women put their lives back on the path they want. It was a great tour. Please call the roll, Dan.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 2 are claims. Approval of all claims processed through June 29th, 2021.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Please call the roll.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundsen,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 3 is a special presentation. This is presenting George Levitt Corrections with the following awards: Department of Corrections 2020 Employee of the Year and Commissioner's Award of Excellence in the category of Productivity for May 2021.
It's an honor, Brad, to have you and Mr. Levitt here this morning. And would you want to start with reading the proclamation?
I think that would probably be appropriate, yes.
Do that, Dan.
George Levitt has been selected as Commissioner's Award of Excellence winner for May 2021. George works as a corrections sergeant and began working for the county on July 12, 2012. He was nominated by Rick Gray, jail administrator, in the category Productivity. In his nomination, Mr. Gray states, in March of 2020, the department formed a multidisciplinary committee tasked specifically with formulating a plan to respond to the ongoing and ever-changing challenges presented by the COVID-19 pandemic. Sergeant Levitt was selected as a member of this committee and as such was tasked with a multitude of responsibilities in addition to the already long list of duties associated with his position as a supervisor of the classification division. Sergeant Levitt's initial primary undertaking as a member of this committee was the development, implementation, and management of a cohorting system for the inmate population. The system had to be designed to reduce the risk of transmission of the COVID-19 virus among the inmate population, minimize the size of the groups that could potentially transmit the virus among themselves, and keep newly accepted inmates separate from the existing population until they had passed through a quarantine period. All of this had to be accomplished while maintaining the necessary daily operations of a facility. George embraced the challenge associated with this task by researching and creating a daily schedule for activity periods for existing reception areas within the facility. He identified other potential areas that could be used to house cohort groups and created activity matrices for staff members to follow while assigned to these areas. Upon implementation, Sergeant Levin trained his classification officers in management of the system, worked with shift supervisors to ensure compliance, and communicated with medical staff to track individuals that they had identified as having concerns associated with the COVID-19 virus. For these reasons, we're pleased to award George Levitt with the Commissioner's Award of Excellence for the month of May 2021.
Great. So, we, as it said there, we formed a committee and, developed all these strategies and plans and so forth. But George was essentially the one tasked with making all that work. So, really, George is where the rubber meets the road for us. So, I really appreciate your efforts and work, and we wouldn't have been there successful without you.
Thank you. George, it's my very deep honor, and actually it's a dual honor because there's two awards here, to present you with the Commissioner's Award of Excellence for Productivity for the month of May 2021.
Thank you.
As well as the 2020 Employee of the Year Award for Lancaster County. This was a tough year. This was a hard year. You all know it. You felt it more than most. This is a big deal. And there is no doubt that the work that you did and the work that you all did averted disaster. You saved lives this year with the work you did. Really, really, really thank you. This plaque doesn't go far enough. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
George, I'm going to give you the final word, but before I do that, I'd just ask if any of the other commissioners want to add anything at this point in time.
I think Commissioner Flowerday said it really, really well. You were a key player, and you led, and everyone chipped in.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, your work this year was tremendous, and thank you, Brad, for alerting us to this so that we could recognize you.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see so many of your coworkers here in support of this award. We know how important the classification process is to the safety of the inmates and the staff, and that goes on every day. And when you started your career, you probably didn't think you'd become an expert in public health, but that duty was added as well. So thank you for your service. The award is well deserved.
Thank you.
And I would just add, George, that I really like the comment that says the rubber meets the road, because there are a lot of great plans and ideas that get drawn up in rooms removed from where the action takes place, and it really takes good people to I worked at the railroad, and I remember the ones who could understand what Fort Worth was trying to accomplish and make it actually work where trains were moving, and it sounds like you're one of those key people here. So eternal gratitude to all of you for what you do out there. It's important work, and for this award, thank you, George. And then you get the last word.
I want to thank the board. I want to thank Brad, Rick, for putting me in for the nomination. Most of all, my correctional officers. I might have been steering the ship, but they were the ones they were the engine that kept it moving, and they were the ones who did the work. And had I not had a great group of staff, this wouldn't have worked, because I had a wide variety of things that I had going on. So really, they might be as just deserving of this as I am. So I appreciate it. That's all I can say.
One more round of applause. Thank you.
We're lucky to have you all.
Thank you all. Yes.
Next are consent items. These are routine business items that are expected to be adopted without dissent. Any individual item may be removed for special discussion and consideration by the commissioner or by any member of the public without prior notice. Unless there's an exception, these items will be approved as one with a single vote of the Board of Commissioners. These items were approval of right-of-way contract with Robert L. Benish Revocable Trust, Southwest 86th Street and West Whitstruck Road in the amount of $544. Grant contracts funded by the Joint Budget Committee for the period of July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022 with the following. The Bridge Behavioral Health or Civil Protective Custody Program in the amount of $232,000. Cedars Youth Services for the Emergency Shelter Program in the amount of $304,580. Amendment to County Contract C-19-617 with Trade B, Environmental Services for Annual Services, Hazardous Waste Service. The amendment renews the contract from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. The cost of the county is not to exceed $2,000. Amendments to the following county contracts for annual supply office seating. This includes All Makes Office Equipment Company of Lincoln, Encompass, and Office Interior and Design. Amendment number 1 to County Contract C-20-770 with the City of Lincoln to allow for 3 days' notice of DEC or District Energy Corporation meetings in accordance with the bylaws and Open Meetings Act instead of the original 7-day requirement.
I will move approval of the consent items.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent items. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 5 has been pulled.
Yes.
Next is number 6, new business. 6A is request under Personnel Rules 17-14, bracket B, for a one-time cash award of $500 to George Levitt.
Move approval?
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve item 6A. Any discussion? I think we've said everything we had to say. Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 6B and C have been pulled. Next is 6D, and this is the appointment of Maysoon Shaheen to Aging Partners Area-Wide Council.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
My name is Randy Jones, Director of Aging Partners, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you for consideration as a proposed member of the Aging Partners Area-Wide Council representing Lincoln and Lancaster County, Maysoon Shaheen. Maysoon is currently an interpreter. She's interpreted for us at Aging Partners through her employer and has assisted with some of our Aging Partners clients' interactions. She's also a teacher in English as a second language and is studying for a doctorate degree in education. We're excited about the proposed membership of Maysoon. She's willing to assist us in reaching a broader Lincoln audience.
Yeah.
Good morning, and I'm so honored to be here, and I really like to help the Arab community to engage to the city, with the city leaders, to help the seniors and adult Arab leaders to take a role and be active in the community. I have been helping them for about 20 years or more, but I feel sometimes disappointed with what we do to the community because we should be more active as Americans. So I'm trying to bring the Arab community with the city government and do a much better job. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for being here, and I imagine we're going to have a few comments here. Who wants to go first? Krista?
Well, I think I've already told everyone how pleased I am and excited to see you in this role. I know Maysoon to be extremely thoughtful and considerate about all of her actions and all of her words, and this is just a really exciting opportunity to have her in this role.
Well, you sound like one busy lady, so between your work as a teacher and your interpreting and studying for your doctorate, I'm glad you could find time to volunteer for us in this role. Can I ask what your doctorate thesis is about or what area of study?
It's going to be in education, teaching ESL for adults.
Oh, okay, very good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you for agreeing to serve your community this way.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
thank you.
Your dedication to the community is very, very noteworthy.
Thank you so much.
We're just honored to have you join this team and honored to have you here this morning. Thank you so much for being a
My
part of
pleasure.
this.
Thank you so
Bless
much.
you.
Move approval of this appointment.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Dan, please call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mason.
E is a third addendum to County Contract C-3-329 between the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce and the county to assist the county with carrying out the provisions of the Nebraska Visitors Development Act. The third addendum provides for funding through the American Rescue Plan Act for the period from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2025.
Good morning. Jeff Mall, Convention and Visitors Bureau. Becky Parrott, the chair or outgoing chair on July 1st of the Visitors Promotion Committee. If I could just briefly comment on item E. I know I've had a chance to talk to each one of you individually, also through the VPC committee. I want to thank all of you for your support. David Durbin for believing in tourism and believing in us. The agreement that we have with the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce is a solid one, but the belief in tourism, I won't get emotional today. I can't tell you how much that means to me. I also want to thank the pandemic. I didn't think I'd ever say this publicly, but I think the pandemic has taught us that there are a lot of things going on in this community that truly mean something to all of us. And I think the belief in tourism as a vital economic engine is something that now we understand. And to try to get our hotel partners and all of us in the tourism industry back up and running, this is a big step. So I can't tell you how much this means for me, to me, my family, our community, and everybody over at the office at 1128 Lincoln Mall. So thank you so much for what you do in believing in tourism.
I will move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? I've been waiting for Becky to come. I've been waiting and waiting. You're still with Runza?
Yes.
Good. That makes this easier because it was going to be totally inappropriate if you weren't. But I just remember back to last winter when that polar front covered the entire Midwest, the entire Southwest Power District, and there was chaos and it was freezing cold and people had to be concerned about electricity. And the only two good words I could find during that extreme cold was temperature Tuesdays.
Right, that's right.
I said, my wife and I would pick up lunch on the way home on Tuesdays, and I said, well, I'll go early so I beat the crowd. There was no beating the crowd.
There was no beating the crowd, and we learned from the first freezing week, because that did last over two consecutive Tuesdays, that by the second Tuesday, we had to lean on our friends at the Lincoln Police Department to help shuffle cars in and out for us, because it was quite the place to be.
Because everybody at Lincoln took advantage of that
That's right.
exciting offer.
That's right.
Very good. Well, I've been waiting months to say that, so
Well,
I'm
thank
glad I
you.
got the
Thank
opportunity.
you.
And thank you for your service
You
on
bet.
this committee.
My pleasure.
Dan, please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 6F is approval of the following appointments to the Visitors Promotion Committee. This includes Jeff Barclay, Pillar Restaurant Group, for a 4-year term, effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2025. Jason Hone, New Victorian Inn and America's Sin South, for a 4-year term, effective July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2025. Aaron Stitt as chair of the VPC, and Tara Newth as vice chair of the VPC.
And again, I'd like to thank Becky for her years of service. She did serve 2 full terms on the VPC. Probably, I've had a lot of really good board chairs at the VPC,
I've
committee
had
chairs. Right?
A lot of really great women.
Yes, very, very organized women, and Becky is one of the best. And I'll tell you, she made my job a ton easier in the meeting situations that we had as we went through the multiple grant applications over the years. But I also want to thank Becky and Roland Morgan, who both agreed to serve a little longer term as we kind of traversed through the pandemic. So Becky, thank you so much for what you've done. I know that you're not going anywhere, I'm not going anywhere, and we're going to continue to work together. So I don't know if you want to make some comments about our appointments.
Absolutely. Very excited to have Jeff and Jason joining the group. as a new members as Roland and I are rolling off, and then also Susan Madsen with the Cornhusker Marriott is continuing for a second term as well. So that consistency with the other members will remain. And Aaron has been a long time, well into his first term, and so him stepping up from vice chair into the chair role, there won't be any bumps in the road, I don't think. And Tara's knowledge through the Lincoln Children's Museum will be invaluable as well.
Mm-hmm. Before I move approval of the appointments, I just would like to mention that my husband and I did a Nebraska passport this weekend. And you know, when you start talking about tourism, it is strong across Nebraska. It really is.
It's a third largest economic engine for the state of Nebraska for good reason, and so.
Yeah. The highways were busy, the restaurants were busy, and everything. So I move approval of the appointments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve these appointments.
Before we take roll, could we just give Becky a round of applause first?
Thank you very much. It's one of those things. I'm born and raised in Lincoln, and when you're a kid, you're like, there's nothing to do here. I mean, you want your natural instinct is to let's go to the big city, and getting a job with Runza really started that proof of there's a ton going on in Lincoln, and then stepping into this role just reinforced that tremendously. There's a lot going on in Lincoln and Lancaster County.
And we'll continue to build.
That's right.
Please call the roll, Dan.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. G is Lancaster County Visitors Promotion Market Grant 2021 through 2022 application and guidelines.
And during our June 16th meeting, Jeff presented the proposed marketing grant application to the committee, and these will be $5,000 micro grants presented by the Lancaster County Visitor Promotion Committee for the sole purpose of marketing. Examples of use include digital marketing, print marketing, TV and radio promotions. And if approved, the grant cycle will open very quickly on July 1st for the August meeting approval, and then open again in January for February meeting approval. As noted in the minutes, there was some discussion about enhancing the proof of performance on the end side of the application process, as well as further discussion centered around additional clarity in the selection criteria. The motion to move forward with the micro grant opportunity passed 6-0.
I would entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Item G, please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
And
Thank you.
it opens
Thank you.
today, right?
July 1st.
July 1st,
Yep,
okay.
have it on our website.
Great.
Thank you so much.
H is an agreement with Summit Food Services LLC for the provision of on-site food service and preparation skills course for inmates in the custody of the Lancaster County Corrections Department. The term of the agreement is a maximum of 1 year from the date of execution. The cost of the county is not to exceed $11,492.49.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion to approve and second. Please call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 6I is authorization for David Durbin to submit written acceptance of amendment to administrative service agreement with Prudential to permit qualified birth or adoption distributions under the Secure Act 113 to incorporate Lancaster County's previous adoption on November 24, 2020 of QBAD for its 457 deferred compensation plan.
Commissioners, you may remember back in November, we approved two modifications to our 457 plan. One of them was to allow for distributions up to $5,000 for each qualified birth and adoption. This would be really just solidifying this in our administrative services agreement for Prudential to process those requests for distribution. So we've already submitted the directive. That started 1/1/2021. And this is just the administrative services amendment to make sure that Prudential has everything they need to process those requests.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
J is setting a salary for Daniel Zieg, Chief Deputy County Attorney, in the amount of $154,571.04 as the Chief Deputy Civil Division, effective July 1st, 2021.
Good morning. Pat Conn, Lancaster County Attorney. Just brought this down to see if anybody had any questions. This is the salary that was set pursuant to a percentage of my salary, and it is a salary that Doug had prior to Doug Sear leaving. So this is just moving Dan into our chief of our civil division. Big shoes to fill, but I think he can do it, so.
Well, congratulations, and
Thank you.
new challenges for you, but I guess familiar challenges.
Familiar challenges, but big shoes would be an understatement, I think, to fill. But I look forward to the opportunity to do what Doug did, so.
Okay, great. I would entertain a motion.
Move approval.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
here, gentlemen.
K is a recommendation from the purchasing agent and Karen Peterson, Facilities and Properties Director, to award a bid to BIC Construction for Election Commission expansion and construction. The total cost to the county is $631,500.
Good morning, Karen Peterson, Property Management. I am asking for approval to recommend a bid award to BIC Construction for the Election Commission expansion in the amount of $631,500. I would like to add that as we were putting, this is a piece of the facility study, as you all know, as we were putting together pricing for those individual projects, the professional services providers are typically fairly conservative with those numbers. They don't want to undershoot themselves, and I appreciate that. That certainly makes it easier for budgeting. The other factor was that as we're putting together numbers for these projects, we're right in the front end of a pandemic, and we really didn't know what was going to happen to costs of goods and services. So the original opinion of cost for this project was $795,000. So to have it come in at $631,500, it's still a lot of money, but I'm very, very pleased at the pricing.
The process seemed to have worked very well. I mean, it just seemed, from where I'm sitting, it was very smooth and just flowed very well, and with a great outcome, too.
Well, we hope construction does the same thing.
Yeah, 'cause Dave's kind of under a timeline. He's got
Yes,
some
he
things
is.
coming up.
He is. That will be the number one priority, is sitting down and getting a schedule that works for Mr. Shively. So.
Yeah.
Great.
So move approval.
Second?
A motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Vest.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Karen.
Number 7 is update on COVID-19 and Lancaster County response.
Anyone have anything this morning? Okay, we may want to look at how long this stays on.
Next is number 8, public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to county business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
I would just make a note as we begin public comment that we welcome those who come to speak, but we as commissioners, we are not allowed to interact with those who make public comments. That would put us in violation and in effect be adding items to the agenda, and we're not allowed to do that. So we won't be asking questions.
Good morning, Chairman Vest and members of the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners. It's a pleasure to appear before you this morning. My name is Larry Hutkins, Larry Hudkins, Malcolm, Nebraska. I appear before you this morning as a president of the Lancaster County Farm Bureau on behalf of our 8,700 members in Lancaster County, and more particularly on behalf of Mr. Bob Retzloff. In my years as county commissioner, at least 3 times he has granted us easement right away for road improvements. He lives out by Whitstruck Road on 176th, and the bridge on that road has been out for over 2 years. And you want to do an improvement along there, perfectly willing to grant you the easement, but he was served papers for eminent domain, and he said he's just not going to do it until he gets some answers on his road that's opened, and pays a lot of farm taxes, and I'll let him speak for himself about, he thinks that culvert could be replaced or fixed at least temporarily so they could get that road open to service his farm, and they can get around in that part of the area. Just would like to point out a little history. The Retzlaff family have always lived in the Walton area amongst our first residents. Great-grandfather Retzlaff was one of our first constables, maybe our first one. Kind of an interesting story, you might want to look it up, but Grandpa Retzlaff was constable of Lancaster County in the late 1850s before we had a county sheriff, and he heard that there was a horse thieving incident over in the Denton area and that they were pretty worked up about it. He got on his horse and rode 21 miles over to Denton, from the Walton area to Denton, but he got there too late. They'd already hung the cowboy. I think his name is Cowboy Blue in one of the rural cemeteries that you mow and keep up in the Denton area, but might check into it sometime. But I'll let Bob tell his story.
Yeah, I'm Bob Retzlaff, and I live at Bennett, Nebraska, actually in Odo County, but I have land in Odo County and Lancaster County. And I'm here today to see if we can get something figured out with regards to these roads that are closed, and they're closed for a very, very long time. I have, as Larry indicated, given Lancaster County 3 easements so far. No problems. I have no problem with Pam at all. But I do want service, and I do want my roads open at some possible time in the future. Rather close. So I got another easement that they want, and I have not signed off on it. So I got a letter of condemnation or eminent domain on that piece of culvert that they want to fix. It hasn't been resolved yet. But as I say, I have given you 3 easements already. And all I want is a policy from our county engineer where these roads can get fixed in 4 to 6 weeks. There's no reason, if there's a road there, why it can't be usable. That's why it was built in the first place, is to have you go up and down with our equipment as well as our cars and trucks. It needs to be opened again. I don't know what the policy is, but when the roads are closed for 3 or 4 years, like the one from Highway 43 to the town of Roca, that was closed for 3 or 4 years also. A paved road. It should have been fixed almost immediately to get that road open. It should be like emergency service, be able to get down that road if they need to. It should be fixed rather quickly. I have no problem with closed roads, at least if they are closed for a short period of time. I asked Matt Tyler, their easement security guy, how soon that would be fixed. He told me there's no steel. He can't give me a date. And I'd like to see steel, there's something on hand all the time for the county engineer to use and get these roads reopened. There's no reason why we can't have roads. We're producing food for people. You eat every day. And I'm glad to produce food for you guys. It's my business. But I also want my business to be functional and be able to go down with huge tractors and trucks without much problems. I could see a temporary repair being made, and that would be satisfactory with me as long as they got fixed sometime down the road. My only request from the county engineer, I'll give her the easement. I don't even care about the money. But I want the road to be fixed rather quickly and without any problems. I don't think that's much for me to ask. They ought to have some kind of a policy from the county engineer that when a road is closed, to get it back up and running in a very short period of time, say 30 days. I suppose my time's about up. Appreciate the opportunity to speak.
You get 5 minutes, sir, and Monet is monitoring that. If you have more to say, Monet, we have a little bit more time, I presume.
Minute and a half.
1 minute, if you have more you'd like
Do you have
to add.
anything to add, Larry?
I would just like to say that the Retzloff families, there's a number of them are earliest settlers out in the Walton area. They've always been good county supporters, and like he said, he's already granted 3 easements to Lancaster County. And I know you guys have been through hell this last year or two in the budget, and I think Lancaster County Farm Bureau thinks that you've done a responsible job with your budgeting and trying to be responsible to all the residents of Lancaster County. But I don't think you'd have a major road like 176 closed for 2 years in the city limits. And all we can do is ask you to maybe, I think Bob's got a good idea on policy, and maybe somehow you can earmark some of the engineer's money for culvert and road replacement. I know she has a hard time getting culverts, but standard culverts and things like that, you're going to need them anyhow. Buy them when you can get them and have them on hand. If we stockpile rock and gravel, I think we should stockpile some culverts too for culvert replacement and things like that. But we just ask you to take a look. Many of our residents are part of the 8 bridges that are still closed. You've made progress going from 13 down to 8 this year. Do whatever you can to help us out. We sure appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here. Mr. Hudkins, Mr.
Thank you.
Widstrom, thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Pam Dingman, Lancaster County Engineer. I have discussed with the board on many occasions pipe closings. This is just yet another pipe failure that was unanticipated. What that means is we have to slot it into our design schedule and redesign the pipe. I think what we fail to acknowledge often in the community is that over the years, engineering has become incrementally better. And as we work on the design of these pipes, often they weren't originally designed at all. They were just a pipe culvert that was put in the road. So that means that we do have to study the drainage that comes to that area and make sure that we're putting in the right pipe in the right place. Also, we have extensive delays with utilities, in particular the telecommunication utilities, as the commissioners are aware. And then in addition to that, we now have many of our pipes that have design concerns with environmental issues. And so we have a number of endangered plants, bugs, and animals in Lancaster County, and we do have to do the needed studies for those, as well as comply with nesting birds and bat pup season. And I don't necessarily have to like any of these things, but I do, as the county engineer, have to follow the procedures and processes that are set forth for me by the federal government. And then in addition, we do have a steel shortage. And so this is just another example of people I talk to in the community every day who are in pain by the level that our infrastructure has reached, a crisis level in many cases. And so when I hear from people like the testifiers that were just before me, you know, my concern is always for the people of the county, and I continue to be highly concerned with these random pipe failures around the county. We do have an inspection process, and we are trying again to certify the safest and best roads for the county. But it does take funding, and it does take time. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Dingman. Anyone else here to make a public comment this morning?
As you know, Monet is going to be moving on to a different agency. She's got had a good opportunity for advancement, and just want to thank her for the 3 years of service to me in the clerk's office. Appreciate it, Monet. Keep on. There's a lot of things that go on before things get to the meeting. There's a lot of moving pieces. Monet's on top, and I really appreciate you keeping us from having any major problems. So thank you.
We are not allowed to interact, but I do think commissioners have some opportunity to add public comments. And since I've been on the board these last 2.5 years, I've met some really great people and really great employees, and it has just been a pleasure to work with someone as professional and kind as Monet has been throughout that time. She worked in the birth of a couple of twins and came back to us and has performed in a way that's brought great honor to the clerk's office and made Lancaster County a better place. I know you're going to continue that work at a new area with Lancaster County. We're excited to have you support Pam and her team, but we will deeply miss you and wish you all the best. Do you want to make a public comment on anything?
It's been fun. And so I thank you all for being so kind. And, you know, there's a lot of people that are behind me and help me. So it's just been fun. And I've learned a lot. So thank you.
Well, good luck in your future position.
Yeah, we're
The
excited.
promotion's well-deserved.
Amen to that.
We bring in people and have the opportunity to interact and watch them grow in their skills, and then go on to do great things in whether it's in the city or the county. And so we're glad you're staying as part of our team. In my years, I was counting, I think, 5 different representatives of the county clerk's office that served us on our Tuesday meetings, and the highest compliment is nothing happens. I mean, you make everything go so smoothly, the interactions between the other elected officials and department directors and the county attorney's office and the health department and planning department, and all that goes on behind the scenes. So when we show up on Thursday, it's just smooth as silk. So we appreciate all you've done for us and wish you the very best.
Speaking as one of the 3 commissioners who got onboarded just in the last 2.5 years here, Monet has always been one of the guides to kind of take you through the process. You know, there's not a training class or anything that you go to before this. And she was incredibly patient with us and has been just so helpful. She'll be a deeply missed member of this team for a long time.
All right, thank you. Any other public comments this morning? All right, let's move on.
Next is announcement. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Thursday, July 1st, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold its next regular meeting on Tuesday, July 6th, 2021 at 9 a.m. with the Board of Equalization immediately following in room 112 of the County City Building. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on Link TV City. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on Link TV and can be viewed on YouTube.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. Please call the roll, Dan.
Amundson?
Yes.
Yocum?
Yes.
Flowerday?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Vest?
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
are adjourned.